Would you spend 45 hours getting from point A to point B just to take advantage of an amazing business class award fair on one of the world's best airlines? Well, I spent 75,000 American Airlines A Advantage points and $50 to do exactly that, to both my benefit and detriment. Join me now for the first leg of this odyssey and discover what it's like to fly on one of the top-rated business class products in the world. Here we are at Incheon Airport, everyone. Today I've got an epic adventure ahead of me. We're flying from Seoul to Doha, Doha to Madrid, Madrid to Venice, and then I'm taking a train from Venice to Florence. So we're flying Qatar Airways today. My flight's at 1:30 a.m., so this is going to be exhausting, but here it is. We're flying business class, so let's go get checked in. We're here checking in, and this is the amazing picture map of all the things you're not allowed to bring. I would like to specifically note the dehumidifier, the ice maker, and the power drill that has been cut out and taped on retroactively on all of them. So yeah, crazy passengers, don't bring this crap and check it in. Come on. We're all checked in. So a note with Qatar Airways and actually most of the Middle Eastern airlines, they're going to check your cabin baggage, your carry-ons to make sure that they are within weight. So just be aware that they will do that. So you can't play the usual trick of putting super dense and heavy things in your carry-on and hope that no one notices. With the Middle Eastern carriers, and that includes Turkish Airlines, which could be counted as a European or a Middle Eastern carrier, they will check. And in fact, you end up with a baggage label of approval. And sometimes they will really look for those when you board these planes. So word to the wise, make sure you play by their baggage allowance rules, because the per kilogram excess baggage fees, it's like $40 per excess kilogram. Yeah, you heard me right. I guess it's time for us to go through security and find a nice lounge. Let's go. But then I remember that the lounge to which I have access is the Asiana Business Lounge, which is not one of my favorites, whereas Incheon Airport itself has many lovely areas to explore landside. So here is a bit of a taster should you happen through. For instance, they have constructed traditional architecture within the terminal. And they even have a miniature museum with artifacts from 1,500 years of Korean culture. Paintings, amazing pottery, some of which has been recently repatriated from Japan. Nasty bit of history there. Traditional handcrafts that seem ephemerally elegant. Lovely fountains and greenery with flowing water calculated to pacify even the most paranoid passenger. Fascinating digital displays that animate works of historic Korean art. And fascinatingly, from landside viewing deck, you can see our conveyance over there, Qatar Airways, Boeing 777. Here we come. There's an airline I haven't seen in literally 3 years. Air New Zealand, fantastic service. If you ever have a chance, do take it. Try out Air New Zealand's amazing product. Hard and soft product, wonderful. Well, now really time to head through security. And as I check out the handy-dandy security lane display that tells me which lanes are open, I realize that I have sadly committed a fatal error in delaying my trip through security. Only one lane remains open for all traffic. And a travel tip for Incheon, there are no priority lanes here for business or first-class passengers, only for the elderly, pregnant, families with children, and socially meritorious people, which is probably K-pop stars and the like, knowing Korea. Okay, well, there was a kerfuffle at immigration. The auto clearance immigration refused to read my fingerprints. I wonder if I've burnt them off from cooking without hot pot gloves. Anyway, let us go and find the lounge, the Asiana Lounge. I have my invitation from Qatar Airways. Not terribly excited. The Asiana Lounge is honestly very middle of the line for premium lounges, but let's go anyway, eh? And yes, it probably does not get any more privileged than the words that just came out of my mouth. Contessa world problems, what can I say? Let's go. Well, after showing you all those beautiful parts of Incheon, we encountered this art installation, which appears to be giant, scary industrial accident spiders. And the title is Gentle Monster. So does that mean it gently tears you apart, or gently injects you with venom, paralyzing you, and then sucks the life out of you? through those terrifying looking, God knows what those are. Ugh. Note that if you are ever here at Incheon, you have a long layover or a long lead up and you don't have lounge access, they are a very civilized airport. They've got these transfer desk rest and relax areas, and it's free. You can get a shower, you can take a nap, there's a place for children to play, there's comfortable eating areas. So there's one on each end of Terminal 1. Just go up to the 4th floor and you can rest and relax as though you actually had premium lounge access. Well, very bad news on the lounge front. This one is only open until 11, which is 10 minutes from now. So I'll get some quick tea and water. And then I guess I'll hope that maybe one of the priority pass lounges is open later. I will have to note that for other flights that are past midnight, because frankly, it's not great to have to wait for your flight for 3 hours, not in a lounge. But I guess, as I just mentioned, happily, Incheon is a civilized airport and so has lounge areas that are pleasant that don't require a pass. Okay, time to go quickly grab some liquids. Well, sadly, no other lounges are open at this time. So I head to the aforementioned rest and relax area and work for the next 2 hours while awaiting my flight. Our time at the lounge is up. One of the unofficial free access lounge, which very few people took advantage of, and we are now heading to the gate. So there is an immense line here, and I'm assuming that's because all the lounges were closed, so even the business class line is pretty long, well before boarding time, which is unusual. Normally I just walk up and walk on, but not tonight. On a side note, supposedly boarding closes at 1 a.m. when it starts at 12:45. I don't see how they're going to get this absolutely packed Boeing 777 completely boarded in 15 minutes when they haven't even started and it's now 12:47. Boarding does eventually commence at about 1 a.m. and I am absolutely knackered and sad because I wanted to be conscious of my Q-Suite experience. And there she is, our chariot for the next, 9 hours, I think. Unlike certain other recent business class experiences, Incheon actually offers a separate jet bridge for business class passengers. So even if you miss the initial premium passenger boarding, you still need not fight your way through Gen Pop to get to your seat. From the second I enter the cabin, I am warmly greeted and even complimented on my travel ensemble.
I like your dress. Oh, thank you.
Flight attendants see more yoga pants, flip-flops, and PJs than any human should be forced to experience in a lifetime, let alone a week. And here it is, the stunning Q-Suite. And yes, this counts as business class on Qatar Airways. And seems as though they have included a side seat for a lady in waiting. The night's bedding is already waiting for us, along with a pillow to promote the upcoming World Cup in Qatar. And a toiletry box wrapped up in a jaunty bow. Even though this flight is only about 9 hours and 45 minutes, I go ahead and unpack my 50 pounds of electronics, finding various spots in which to stow my belongings, such as this handy footwell. At which point my flight attendant comes by, introduces herself and her supervisor by name, and very kindly asks me not to film any of my fellow passengers, which I avoid doing at all costs in any case. So there's this little cubby right next to the seat, and I guess you have to be smarter than the furniture. I kept tugging and pushing and I missed that there's this little red button right there. But if you push that, there is storage space. It's not bad, as you can see. And that is where the noise canceling headphones are. Also, we have a bottle of water already waiting. And let's see what this is. That's a bag for personal wellness. So, wow, so far the service here is amazing. I've already had 2 flight attendants bring me all sorts of goodies and take a tea order. It's very rare that it's been a long time since I've gotten to make a tea order as a welcome beverage. She also came and told me that she's pre-stocked my seat, showed me where things were with the water and the headphones, and we actually get pajamas on Qatar Airways business class flight, and they chose a size for me, and she actually said she took the liberty of picking my size because she can wear a medium, so I can wear a medium, but I think she's way more slender than I am, so I'm flattered. I'm excited to try these PJs on. And they also brought the menus. Look at these. Aren't these gorgeous? I mean, wow. And it's anytime dining, so I can tell them when I want to eat which meal and they will make it happen, which is splendid. Although I think I am actually hungry, even though it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I shouldn't really be, but I think I'm going to do it upright. So it's a 10-hour flight today, they said, and I plan on enjoying everything I possibly can from this menu on your behalf, dear viewer. Onward. So let's see what else. There's this Diptyque Parfumier Paris box waiting here. I'm going to have to open up that and see if that's my amenity kit or just a gift. And they also brought this little refreshing towel on this little plastic tray that's less impressive, but also from Diptyque, which is funny because Diptyque is a religious painting. It's a 2-leafed panel that usually sits on an altarpiece from the Middle Ages or Renaissance, so that's kind of fun. Well, here's my tea, and it's jasmine, and it smells lovely. Well, while we enjoy our welcome beverage and wait for the remainder of this packed flight to board, let us explore our suite in the sky. First, the feature that really transforms this space into a suite is the door. I love the 3-dimensional pattern that has been wrought into the panel, one of the many details that elevate the seat to a higher plane of elegance. Truly, finishing details such as this design and the stitched leather decor create an atmosphere of all-encompassing luxury. The seat itself is sleek, and even though it is wide enough for my frame, it is not as spacious as some older business class models, such as the agoraphobically open Turkish Airlines seats in their old A330 product. The more enclosed Q-Suite does feature a decent footwell, although certainly not super spacious. The suite features thoughtful amenities, such as this handy coat hook and stylish lamp that can either cast ambient light or be directed for reading. In fact, this pod is so complex that it comes with a wraparound control panel, some of which symbols seem to convey alarmingly exciting options. And here on the panel next to me, we have our plug. We've got the universal plug, which also includes a USB charging. Excellent. And another USB port, headphone jack, and then this is interesting. Over here, we have an HDMI port, and then this card reader, which is curious. Side table with phone, mug, gloves, and gift box for scale. Something I will note, the rear-facing pods have a larger opening for the TV area, basically. But for that, we get a smaller little side table, whereas the forward-facing pods have a much bigger storage side table. So I think I would pick the forward-facing ones next time if I could. It wasn't an option this time. So backward-facing flight, here we go. So there are some disappointing things. There's an almond here from the last flight, so that means this wasn't cleaned very thoroughly. And then back here, there's some parts coming off. So the padded part that is presumably going to be next to my head when I lay down has been completely detached. So that's not super great. That should have been fixed before now, I think. But it is nice that they have these side bumpers here, because that basically is going to extend the width of this bed when it goes in a lie flat mode. And this little ottoman / storage area will presumably also expand the sort of sleepable area. Like I can maybe throw my leg there, my knee, if I get particularly athletic or gymnastic while sleeping. It could happen. Here's the table. As you can see, it is quite sizable, and it does fold in half, so you can use it as sort of a drinks tray or fold it out for your full dining affair. Well, she just came in to take my order, and we basically had a food consultation. It was remarkable. Literally, we walked through the menu, and she made suggestions, and suggested that I have this before that, and maybe I should have my main meal before 2 hours before landing. Asked if she had permission to awaken me if I were sleeping. I said, oh yes, because otherwise I'll sleep until the plane touches down. So yeah, a remarkable service, Qatar, very nice. At this point, we are taxiing for takeoff while enjoying the safety video, which constitutes a mastery of subtlety vis-a-vis the upcoming World Cup in Qatar. I mean, the whole flight feels in a certain way calculated to do so. And shameless self-promotion time, if you are enjoying my unique style, please hit subscribe and like, and consider supporting my work through Patreon, which comes with a host of perks, including special travel tips and discounts on my events and classes, and footage that no one else ever gets to see, for better or for worse. Well, back to your regularly scheduled Contessa. So apparently you can buy Wi-Fi access, and you get an hour complimentary if you're a member of the Privileges Club, which I am. I don't think you have to have any status. Well, I'd fallen into a stupor because it's late and I'm exhausted. And then I felt this tiny little finger pressing into my arm. It was lightest of touch. I realized that was the flight attendant trying to rouse me from my stupor, because it was time to have tea and nuts. So they served the drink with these little nice bowl of welcome nuts, basically. This is the saffron chai, so I'm very excited to try this. The saffron tea is absolutely delicious, with just enough saffron flavor to make itself known, but not enough to make one feel as though one were eating a bouquet of crocuses. Croci? Anyway, also, how about this sassy nightclub lighting? While we wait for our late night snack, let us explore the in-flight entertainment. The screen is a very good size, bigger than British Airways first class, in fact. The IFE is a bit slow to switch from menu to menu. The system does offer quite a large range of options, from classics to new releases. The selection of premium TV show options is also quite gratifying. Picard, for instance, which will be occupying my time. Sir Patrick Stewart, a charisma that never gets too old. Look at this. Pitch, roll, airspeed heading. You get to feel like you're the pilot with no control. You can read the dials, but you can't do a damn thing about it. You click on your flight and it pops up with the emergency exits. I'm not certain what the message there is. Destination information. Oh wow, they really go all out here. Check that out. Well, time for our first meal, and the elegant service continues with my attendant draping my table in a lovely linen and placing my napkin gracefully in my lap. She then sets the table with condiments and caps it off with an LED candle that creates ambiance without the risk of setting fire to the plane. Next comes the soup and a top-off of my spring water. Not only is the soup plated beautifully with a drizzle of heavy cream, but it is served up individually rather than on a tray. Many business class products are now serving meals on trays, for instance, Delta One. Another nod towards truly gourmet dining. The salt and pepper are not shakers, but glass and metal grinders, with whole peppercorns and chunks of pink Himalayan salt. As tedious as this may start sounding, the soup is scrumptious and everything I hoped it would be. Fresh ginger setting off the natural sweetness of the carrot, all enhanced by the jaunty swirl of full-fat cream. I practically lick the bowl clean. There must be some culture in which such gustatory conduct is considered a sign of good manners. Without me needing to ask, my tea is refreshed, and then my cheese platter is delivered, each cheese identified, just in case I were not the cultured dairy product lover that I am. The accompaniments are placed carefully, a metal basket featuring German-style pumpernickel bread and 2 kinds of lavash. The cheese platter itself, arrayed elegantly, consists of the usual mandatory malodorous blue cheese, a lovely goat cheese, and an aged English cheddar. The cheeses and breads prove to be just as high caliber as, well, every other tediously delectable, beautifully plated item served on this flight. Certainly head and shoulders above the slop that was served to me in Air France business class on my return trip to Seoul. With my late night snack done, my flight attendant gracefully clears the supper things away, and as the rest of the cabin has fallen into a post-prandial coma, she offers to make up my bed for me for a mid-autumn nap. And here is the bed as it appears made up complete with mattress pad. I'm apparently so exhausted and brain dead at this point that I forget about the PJs that were handed out, and I just climb into bed as is. Well, good morning from 35,000 feet, somewhere over, I actually don't know. It will actually show me a flight map this time. It will not. There's no flight map for me. Anyway, I got a good couple of hours nap. Some notes on my experience thus far. The service is extremely warm, extremely friendly, but it feels genuine and very solicitous. They have attempted to feed me lots of things since awakening, and it's really funny because I keep saying I'm not hungry. So like, oh, so you just want a croissant? Like, no, I'm not hungry means I'm not hungry. But then I chatted with one of my personal attendants. She said, oh, but you have a transit in Doha, right? I said, yes. So she told me, well, then you're going to get to go and film, go and eat some really good food in that lounge. You're really going to enjoy it, and then you can film everything. This crew is really positive towards vlogging and so they offered to take some footage of me in the bed from above, which I thought was really kind. This bed seat is absolutely amazing. It's super comfortable. They've got this lovely mattress pad, which it's nice. It's not super thick, but yeah, it definitely does add a little bit of extra something. The blanket, the comforter, is very, very nice. It's got a cotton lining underneath so that you have breathable fabric against your skin, and then this pretty fuzzy fake fleece stuff on top with a nice pattern, but very comfortable. It made a good moisture barrier because I burrowed myself in it while sleeping, and it kind of helped keep me hydrated. So yeah, this seat is really wonderful. This suite is great. It manages to feel both intimate and spacious at the same time, and having a door that closes is pretty damn nice. And these doors are high, so on some of the suite products these days, the doors aren't actually very high, so it's almost more of a gimmick than anything else. I even sit here sideways like this, like I'm sitting on a couch, and there's all this great room for my legs right here. So it's like I have my own little living area, cum sleeping arrangement, which I find really nice. Storage, there's definitely not enough storage, seatside storage. There's no under ottoman storage. There's some kind of a cooling system, I guess, maybe for the entertainment systems that are installed on sort of dual walls. So I would definitely like to see more storage space. The little storage cubby that they have here, it's enough for maybe a pair of shoes, but not much else. The cabin, so this is a Boeing 777, so it's been retrofitted with a Q-Suite product, and you can tell it's been retrofitted because it's very tight in here. The cabin, when you're walking down the aisles, it definitely feels crowded. It feels very tight. So inside the Q-Suite, it's great. Outside the Q-Suite, not so much. The nice thing about my Q-Suite is that I have 3 windows. I love the table. It's immense and it's flexible. So another great thing about the design of the Q-Suite is that I can actually get up and leave if the table's laid, whereas there are other configurations out there where once you start dining, you're locked in, and unless someone shows you mercy and clears the table for you. So you almost feel like a hostage to your food. Disadvantage of a flight that leaves at 1:30 in the morning. They didn't offer full meal to start, which I kind of wish they had, because honestly, I was really, really hungry. Because now I'm not hungry. I'm not a morning eater. My first meal is usually not until 1 or 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So I now in retrospect, I would have actually ordered, because they've dine anytime, I would have actually asked for the main course to be served when I boarded, basically after takeoff, because I would have really liked to try that salmon. I really would have liked to have tried that ricotta omelet. Oh well, there will be better food in the lounge, I'm confident, because you can always do more on land than you can in the air. So I guess it's Contessa World problems. This menu is amazing. You'll see here that they actually have a wine per page, so it's almost more like a catalog of wines than a menu. Interesting, the wines and spirits. It's always interesting how premium cabin flights, there seems to be a lot of focus on the alcohol. I guess that's sort of where I lose out, because I'm not really much, I'm a very lightweight. I prefer to chew my calories than drink them. Let's go ahead and explore this little package that was given to me before takeoff. So we have a pajama top, and it feels quite nice. And then we have these pajama pants with drawstring top. And then the slippers. I will say that the slippers are unfortunately pretty cheaply made. Turkish Airlines has way better quality slippers. So they didn't hand out an amenity kit as such. We have this little box waiting for us. So let's go ahead and open it up. As it seems to be the trend with Middle Eastern carriers these days, the kit is sponsored by an expensive perfume brand, Diptyque. Of course, here we have the brand's calling card, intended to encourage you to purchase more of their overpriced wares after having sampled them from this box, no doubt. Body lotion consisting of uniquely synthetic chemicals. This is facial cream, which actually features some almond and olive oil. Lip balm with castor oil as the first ingredient. Yay! We'll be using this directly. And of course, Diptyque's raison d'être eau de toilette to cover the odors of travel. And then a neatly packed bundle consisting of earplugs, socks, and an eye mask, all in a jaunty pink. I do like pink. The socks feel nicer than a lot of the cheap footwear airlines are peddling these days, but still definitely not wool. Dear viewer, do you ever use these socks? Do you save them, throw them away, use them as a washable coffee filter? Let me know in the comments below. The sound-canceling headphones are very obviously self-branded, called Oryx One. And they're decent. They're not the highest quality sound-canceling headphones I've ever used on an airplane. They're okay. Time for the bathroom review. There are 2 bathrooms in this cabin, and one of them is tiny and one of them is medium-sized, I would say. So here we have the mirror, and of course there is that weirdly distorting mirror that allows you to see every pore and imperfection. Over here we have a facial moisturizer, basically, sort of something you can spray on your face to refresh and moisturize, and then hand lotion. The sink is a lovely large basin with some depth at the center, so prevents actually the floor is not covered in water, although I will say that my flight attendant, or one of my flight attendants, cleaned this up right before I came in, so God knows how it looked before that. And the amenity kits don't come with toothbrushes and toothpaste, but instead there's this drawer here with sets that you can take if you need them, and actually I applaud that, because what that means is that people who don't want or need toothbrushes and toothpaste, you're not wasting them by automatically including them in the kits. Over here we have a bench that can come down so you can change clothes more easily, for instance into these pajamas that they gave me. Some of the walls anyway are done in this nice geometric pattern. We have a wall of mirror for infinite Contessa effect. The larger of the 2 bathrooms is large enough to allow for a bit of Irish step dancing for mid-flight aerobic activity. Hey, I do not do well sitting still for long periods. Also, were it actually legal to do so, how many people actually feel compelled to smoke while powdering their noses? Back at our seat, it is now breakfast time, and a second round of warm towels has been served. Sadly, I am not hungry because this is too early in my body's day to eat. So instead, I use my little sky office to get some video editing work done, and also to work on the new Italian Renaissance gown I am making. And if you are interested, here is what breakfast could have featured had my stupid circadian rhythms not interfered with my naturally gourmand tendencies. Too soon, my time in my luxurious Q-Suite comes to a close, this being merely a 9-hour flight. As we land, I reflect upon my disgustingly positive experience, and the only thing that springs to mind as a less than impressive aspect is the sellout amenity kit featuring overpriced, gaudily branded, but under-quality skincare products. Oh, and the sad excuse for slippers. Also, I am extremely sad that I did not get to try more of the menu on this entirely nighttime flight, especially as I am just now starting to grow hungry. Well, dear viewer, this exact itinerary often retails for $2,600 US round trip, and I have to say that I would in fact pay that out of pocket, something I do not often say in these reviews. What about you, dear viewer? Would $2,600 round trip be good value for money to you? Let me know in the comments below. Coming up on the next exciting episode, we pay a visit to the Al Morjan Business Lounge and then experience a completely different seat style offered by Qatar Airways on our flight from Doha to Madrid, and hopefully get to eat. Until next time, may your travels be creative, and stay tuned for your moment of kitty zen. So much for lotus position stretches.
He's so happy.
Unfortunately for him, my left ankle is starting to not be happy, so this isn't going to last forever.
Okay, take him off. Because you know he's going to meow. And back to sleep.